There comes a quiet hour in life when the house grows still, the phone stops ringing, and the days feel longer than they used to. And in that silence, something unexpected rises. The question, what now? Maybe you've spent decades building a family, a career, a marriage. Maybe you've loved deeply, worked hard, given everything of yourself to others. And now at 60 or beyond, you find yourself standing in a space you didn't prepare for, one that feels unfamiliar, even empty. The world doesn't often talk about what it means to start over at 60, to rebuild not just a routine, but a reason. Not just a calendar, but a calling. People think life slows down, but what if this is the moment it actually begins again? It can feel like standing at the edge of a cliff, terrifying and quiet. You might wonder, is it too late? Have I missed my chance? Or even worse, what do I do with all this time now that it's finally mine? But here's the truth no one told us. Peace isn't found by accident. Purpose doesn't just appear in retirement. And strength isn't measured by what you still lift, but by what you now choose to carry forward. If you're here, it's not because you've given up. It's because something inside you still whispers, there's more to life, and I want to find it. This isn't the end. It's the quiet beginning of something powerful, something wholly yours. Let's walk that path together. Welcome to Comfort Corner, a quiet space where we honor the stories still unfolding, especially the ones that begin a little later in life. I'm Michael, and I'm deeply grateful you're here. This channel was created for one simple reason, to remind you that even when the world grows quiet, your voice still matters. Your dreams still matter, and the path ahead, even if it looks different than before, can still be full of peace, purpose, and yes, strength. Here, we talk about life after 60, about starting over after loss, reinvention after retirement, finding joy in solitude, and healing from decades of giving without always receiving. This is a place where no one is rushing you, a place where your story is not just welcomed, it's respected. If you've ever felt like you were the only one trying to piece together a new life after so many years of being defined by others, you're not alone. You're part of a quiet, growing circle of brave souls who are choosing, every day, to live with more intention and less noise. So if this resonates with you, if you find comfort in quiet reflection or strength in gentle encouragement, please consider subscribing. Leave a comment below and share a part of your journey. And if there's someone in your life who's walking a similar road, feel free to share this with them too. You never know who might need these words today. Now, take a breath. Let the noise of the world fall away, and let's begin right where you are, because your second beginning starts now. There's a kind of quiet weight we carry as we grow older, not just in our bones, but in our hearts. It's the weight of memories, of roles we once held, of people we've loved and sometimes lost. And as we step into this new chapter, that weight can quietly ask us a question. Can you set some of this down now? Letting go isn't about forgetting. It's not about erasing the past or pretending it didn't matter. It's about honoring what once was, then releasing what no longer serves your peace. You may have spent decades being a spouse, a parent, a caretaker, or a professional. And when those roles shift or even disappear, it can feel like pieces of your identity are falling away. But beneath all of that, you are still here, still whole, still worthy of a life that feels light, honest, and free. Grief comes in many forms, not just from death, but from divorce, retirement, estrangement, even children growing distant. And grief, if not acknowledged, can harden into quiet resignation. That's why it's so important to pause and say, this hurts, and that's okay. One gentle practice is called a memory ritual. Take a quiet moment, light a candle, hold an old photo, or write a letter to a version of yourself or someone you loved, thanking them for the role they played. And then breathe. Let the candle burn as a symbol that something was real, and now it's been released with grace. Forgiveness, too, can be part of this. Not just forgiving others, but forgiving yourself. For staying too long. For not knowing better. For being human. Psychologists remind us that the brain, especially as we age, craves emotional closure. According to research from the American Psychological Association, unresolved emotional tension can lead to increased anxiety, sleep disruption, and even chronic inflammation in older adults. Letting go isn't only spiritual, it's biological healing. But here's the truth that brings light. Letting go is not the end of the story. It's the clearing of space for something new, like a field after the harvest. Empty, yes, but full of potential. And if you've ever wondered whether it's too late to begin again, to feel light again, to hope again, know this. The act of letting go isn't weakness. It's one of the greatest strengths you'll ever embody. What might surprise you next is how peace begins to take root, the moment your hands are no longer clinging to what's already gone. So let yourself grieve, let yourself breathe. And when you're ready, let yourself begin again. In the early morning hours, when the world is still hushed and the sky is just beginning to shift from blue to gold, there is a sacred kind of space. And in that space, something powerful begins, not with noise, not with obligation, but with intention. After 60, many people experience a quiet unraveling of structure. Retirement may end the rhythm of work. Children may have long moved out. Days stretch wide, but sometimes feel hollow without anchor points, and without even noticing it, time slips by. not peacefully, but aimlessly. But here's something quietly profound. The human mind craves gentle order. According to researchers at Harvard Health, even a light daily routine can significantly reduce anxiety, stabilize mood, and improve sleep quality, especially in older adults. Structure, it turns out, is not about control, it's about comfort. So what does it mean to reclaim routine? It doesn't require a strict schedule. Instead, think of it as a soft frame for your day, something that holds you rather than pressures you. Start small. Perhaps it's a cup of warm tea every morning, sipped in silence near a window, or a short walk at the same time each day, greeting the same tree, the same patch of sky. Maybe it's journaling your thoughts for 5 quiet minutes or watering the plants while soft music plays. The key isn't perfection, it's consistency. A predictable rhythm offers something deeply healing. It tells the brain, you are safe, you are anchored, you belong to this moment. Even simple markers, changing out of sleepwear each morning, opening the curtains, making the bed, signal to the psyche that the day has started. These small acts say, I choose to be present. And for those grieving or rebuilding, this is especially important. In moments of emotional turbulence, daily rituals become emotional footholds. They say, even if everything has changed, some things remain. You can even reimagine meals as moments of mindfulness, preparing a single plate with care, savoring each bite with gratitude. According to the National Institute on Aging, mindful eating and routine meal times improve not just nutrition, but also mood, digestion, and emotional stability. And if, on some days, it feels hard to do even one thing, that's okay. Begin again tomorrow. The gift of routine is that it forgives you easily, so don't underestimate the quiet power of your daily rhythm. It doesn't need to impress anyone. It only needs to hold you gently and steadily as you rebuild your life from the inside out. Because healing doesn't always happen in dramatic ways. Sometimes it comes softly with the making of tea and the rising of the sun. There's a quiet moment, maybe after the dishes are done or the house is finally settled for the night, when you pause and ask yourself, who am I now? For decades, identity may have been tied to what you did or who you were to others. You were the teacher, the partner, the caregiver, the one who showed up, held everything together, remembered birthdays, folded laundry, earned paychecks, gave advice. You were defined by your roles, and those roles were noble. But what happens when those roles begin to fade? There's a name for this space. It's called the identity vacuum, and many people feel it deeply after retirement, divorce, or the loss of a partner. The house is the same, but the mirror reflects someone who isn't sure where the edges of self begin anymore. But here's what no one tells us when we're younger. Identity is not a title. It's a living, breathing expression of your inner self. And at 60 or 70 or beyond, you have every right to rediscover who that self truly is. You are not starting from scratch. You're starting from wisdom. What once brought you joy before life became so busy? Was it painting, gardening, writing poetry, playing piano just for the way the notes filled the room, cooking meals slowly without rushing? Now is the moment to go back to things you never had time for, or maybe things you were once too afraid to try. Some people find their identity again by learning something new, enrolling in a pottery class, picking up photography, or taking online courses at local community colleges, many of which are free for seniors. Others begin volunteering, mentoring, or even writing their memoirs. These aren't distractions, they are acts of reclaiming. Remember, your identity is not diminished because you're no longer needed in the same way by others. It is expanded because now you're allowed to belong to yourself. Even your physical space can support this transformation. Try this gentle exercise. Walk around your home and ask, does this reflect who I am today or who I used to be? Replace old photos, clear out a drawer, hang something that reflects now, not then. Let your environment mirror this new chapter, one small detail at a time. And don't be surprised if emotion rises in the process. This isn't just redecorating, it's reintroducing yourself to yourself. The world may see age as a time of retreat, but you know better. This is not a shrinking, it's a soft becoming. So the next time you hear that inner question, who am I now that I'm just me? Smile gently and answer, I'm still becoming. And that's more than enough. Peace doesn't always arrive in grand moments. Sometimes it whispers through a sunbeam on the floor. The hush of morning before the kettle sings. The softness of a worn blanket pulled gently over tired legs. After 60, as the noise of life quiets, children grown, calendars loosened, careers behind us, we're offered a rare and powerful invitation to create a space not just to live in, but to feel at home within. You've likely spent years making a home for others. Now the question becomes, can you create a home that nurtures your spirit too? Studies from the Mayo Clinic and Harvard Health show that our environment, light, noise, clutter, even wall color, has a direct effect on emotional well-being, particularly in older adults. A cluttered space can lead to increased cortisol, the body's stress hormone, while a serene, simplified environment lowers heart rate and invites calm. So where do you begin? Start with light. Natural sunlight is one of the most healing elements in any room. Open the curtains wide each morning. Let the warmth in. If windows are few, consider soft daylight mimicking bulbs that ease your circadian rhythm. Then look to sound. Replace background noise like television or traffic with calming alternatives. Gentle instrumental music, birdsong recordings, or even the sound of water. These subtle shifts help signal safety to the nervous system. Next, consider what surrounds you. Are you keeping items that hold you in the past or that no longer reflect your spirit? You don't need to throw everything away, but let go of what carries weight, not warmth. A quiet corner, maybe with a comfortable chair, a lamp with a soft glow, a few books, or a photo that makes you smile, can become a sacred space for reflection. This doesn't require renovation. It requires intention. And don't underestimate the power of living elements. A single plant, a small vase of flowers, or a bowl of fresh fruit can soften a room and lift the soul. These small symbols of life remind you that you are still growing too. Finally, take time for stillness. Even 5 minutes a day. Sit with a cup of tea, gaze out a window, feel your breath without needing to change it. These are not idle minutes, they are healing ones. Many seniors fear that solitude means loneliness, but the two are not the same. Loneliness is the ache for connection. Solitude is the gift of coming home to yourself. And when your environment is one of care, of thoughtfulness, of quiet beauty, peace doesn't feel far away. It lives with you, right there, in the chair by the window, in the ritual of folding clothes slowly, in the space where no one else speaks, but where you are finally listening. Because peace isn't something you wait for. It's something you create, one quiet choice at a time. There's a certain ache that doesn't always speak in words. It shows up in the quiet of long afternoons, in the silence after dinner, in the absence of footsteps that once filled the room. After 60, many people find themselves surprised by how heavy loneliness can feel, even if they've chosen solitude, even if they enjoy their own company. It's not always about needing more people. Sometimes it's about needing to feel seen again. The truth is, we are wired for connection. According to long-term studies from the National Institutes of Health, NIH, and the AARP, older adults who engage in regular social connection, whether through friendships, volunteering, or community events, report significantly lower rates of depression, cognitive decline, and even heart disease. But finding new circles at this age can feel daunting. Many people feel out of place, too old to start over, or unsure where to even begin. But connection doesn't require a crowd. It starts with one conversation, one shared smile, one brave hello. So where can it begin? Start gently. Look toward places where people gather without pressure. A local library's book club, a community center's Tai Chi or chair yoga class, a walking group in the park, a quiet church group or volunteer garden project. These aren't loud, fast places. They're slow, steady ones, where people come not to impress, but to belong. And don't overlook the power of online spaces. While social media can sometimes feel overwhelming, there are beautiful, supportive corners of the internet where seniors gather to share stories, advice, and laughter. From forums like Senior Planet to private Facebook groups focused on grief, travel, or creative hobbies, these digital communities can bridge gaps when distance or mobility gets in the way. But perhaps the most important shift isn't external, it's emotional. Real connection begins when we allow ourselves to show up authentically. When we say, "I'm starting over too," or "I've been through something hard," or even simply, "I'm looking for something more." You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to be cheerful all the time. You only need to be real. And if the first try doesn't lead to a lasting friendship, that's okay. Connection isn't a transaction. It's a garden. And like all gardens, it needs time, light, and gentleness. Here's what might surprise you. Others are waiting too. They're also sitting in quiet rooms. They're also hoping someone might ask how their day is going. When you reach out, however softly, you're not interrupting. You're answering a call they didn't know they'd made. So reach gently, speak honestly. Stay open to those whose presence feels safe and warm, because strength isn't always found in standing alone. Sometimes it's found in the courage to say, "I still want to be known. I still want to be part of something." And when you do, you'll find that the circles were never gone. They were simply waiting for you to step inside, just as you are. So here you are, at the edge of a chapter you never planned, and yet one you now have the power to shape. Let's gently reflect on the path we've walked together in this video. You learn to let go with grace, to release the roles, regrets, and relationships that no longer serve your peace, while honoring what they once meant. You explored the power of small routines, those quiet anchors that steady your days and remind you that structure can feel like safety. You rediscovered your right to rebuild identity, not based on what you do for others, but who you are when it's just you and the mirror and your soul. You found ways to create an environment that calms, with light, softness, and space that reflect the person you're becoming, not the one you used to be. And finally, you were reminded that connection is still possible, that new circles can form without rushing, and that reaching out doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. But maybe right now, all of that still feels too big. So let's begin with something small. Try this. Tonight, before you sleep, take just 2 minutes to write down one thing that brought you peace today. It could be a breeze through the window, a kind face, a moment of stillness, Just one thing. And tomorrow, notice one more. These are not small things. These are breadcrumbs back to yourself. Because you don't have to rebuild everything all at once. You don't have to become someone new overnight. You just have to begin with one small step, one kind gesture, one choice to stay open. And from there, life begins to open back to you. You're not behind. You're right on time. If this video found its way to you, maybe it's because you needed to hear something simple yet quietly powerful. You are not done. Not by a long shot. There is still beauty to notice, still laughter to share, still mornings that rise just for you. Starting over doesn't mean erasing what came before. It means honoring it and choosing gently to live forward. Whatever brought you here, loss, change, and unexpected quiet, you are not alone in it. Many of us are learning how to begin again, with shaky hands, with tired hearts, but also with wisdom, courage, and the kind of softness that only comes with age. So if this video spoke to your heart, please share it with someone else who might need this reminder. A friend, a sibling, someone starting over in silence. Leave a comment below. Just a word, a line, a moment from your day. Your voice might be exactly what someone else needed to hear tonight. And if you'd like to continue walking this path with us, consider subscribing. Comfort Corner is here for you, with quiet encouragement, honest reflections, and a hand to hold through the seasons of life that don't get talked about enough. Take all the time you need. There's no rush here. Just a gentle invitation to begin again with peace, purpose, and strength. I'm Michael from Comfort Corner, wishing you peace, health, and a heart full of hope.